Welcome to the September 5th Clark County Fire District 6 Board of Commissioners meeting. I'd like to call this evening's meeting to order and ask that you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time I'd ask for any additions to this evening's agenda.
I did ask to talk about start time for meetings.
Okay, I've added that to the new business.
And then,
Thank you. We need to read, approve, post as necessary the minutes for August 20th regular meeting.
so moved.
Second,
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Correspondence this evening. I didn't see anything included in the packet. Citizen communication. Citizens viewing this evening's meeting can communicate directly with the board using the chat feature that will be monitored throughout this evening's meeting. Committee reports this evening. I didn't see any listed.
the FFB meeting got moved to September 29th. I think I have
Yeah,
that
from
somewhere.
Atlanta.
Yeah, okay, just so folks know.
And we did spin up an additional meeting for risk management next week.
Okay. Moving on to the consent agenda.
Move for approval.
Second.
Seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Chief's report, personal action report.
So for the personal action report for September, we have Travis Dick, Tracy Wood, and Ethan Altman, all with 18 years of service. Chief Schmidt with 5 years of service, and Brad Osborne with 3 years of service.
Oh, time flies, doesn't it?
Congratulations to all. Facilities update report.
So in your packet, I included an email that Chief Newberry sent out to the whole department, but just explaining where construction is and how it's going. But essentially, phase 2 is progressing nicely. If you'd like to go tour it, we'd be happy to take it through. You just have to make sure we have a helmet and vest. But the roof is complete. The gutters are being installed this week. Framing, roof, electrical, HVAC, and plumbing have all been installed. The crews asked for an additional wall in the day room. That's been installed. And the handrail on the patio is coming soon. So there's the firewall challenges that we're having with the county, and I'm gonna do a more in-depth memo to the board that I'll send out next week with more explanation on that. And then some of the concerns that the crews had, so just a little rumor control that we did, but concern about the privacy with the trees all coming down, just reiterating that those are getting replanted. Some car key issues that they won't have to use them coming out of the truck bay into the building, but we can lock it down if necessary. We can do that remotely. The windows in the dorms are really big, and if you open them, they swing wide into the room. But the windows also have a tilt feature, so they tilt open at the top, so we anticipate they'll use those. Showers are small, but bigger than the current showers at 63. We've worked on acoustic issues, and there's a mural that's currently in the truck bay that we're preserving. So
Oh, great.
those were the main concerns that we've been hearing from the crews and addressed.
On the tree, is that just, is on the north side gonna be replanted?
Yeah.
The deal,
Yeah.
I saw it and
It looks much different.
It looked much different.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
The grinding those stumps is gonna be a job for
Yeah.
somebody. Hope they don't ruin our new concrete when they do it. but-
Sure, they'll protect the company. So that's it for the facilities report.
Okay, thank you. I didn't see any old business listed. Moving on to new business, pay application number 13.
So pay application number 13 is in your packet. It's for the amount of $486,500.84. That's our normal process for board approval.
So moved, to approve pay application number 13.
I'll second that.
It's moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Heat pump purchase.
We'd like to purchase a heat pump for the Station 63 storage building. It's designed so that it keeps the temperature of the building at a normal or moderate temperature at all times, so there's no freezing and no heating in the building. It's more energy efficient, so we think in the long run, it'll be considerable cost savings to the district. But the purchase for that heat pump system exceeds my threshold. If the board were so to choose to move forward with that, the amount for the equipment installation is $17,323.37.
What's in there now, just heat?
Well, I'm sorry.
Is that building heated now?
No, it just has fans, whirly fans. in it.
But in the winter, it's not heated?
No.
17,000 seems pretty reasonable, because they haven't put the ductwork and everything, right? I'll make a motion, we approve 17,323.37 for a heat pump for the new building, storage building at Station 3.
I will second that.
All right, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Surplus.
There's a list of surplus items in your packet that the district no longer needs or are no longer in service. So the board would need to declare those surplus, and it's helpful if they can declare it surplus at the chief's discretion.
Could I buy the 80-pound boxing bag?
So I can figure out how it goes on surplus, but they do it through gov deals, so.
Here's the Tahoe Center Council.
2024.
Can you put it back in before we sell it?
I'll make a motion to declare these items surplus to be disposed of at the chief's discretion.
Second.
All right, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Capital facilities plan.
Gonna share my screen here. I also provided the board printed off copy.
I appreciate that.
Okay, so I provided the board the capital facilities plan, last week to review. And I did that because we're under a time crunch for this plan. Okay, sorry. I did that because we have to present to the county our capital facilities plans in September so they can get it on their agenda to review early 2025. So that's when they draw their agendas up for the next year for their financial planning. So that's why we need to present it tonight to the board. But again, just to remind you, we were
I'm fine with the hard copy.
with our copy.
Yeah.
Well, the public can see that though.
She's sharing her screen.
They can see it anyway.
I was sharing one of these.
Very
Okay. So again, the capital facilities plan is required to be able to assess impact fees. So this plan is the formulation on how we assess those impact fees and we come up with the calculations. It contains all the elements required by law for a capital facilities plan. By doing this plan and having the board adopt our plan, then it can be adopted into the 20-year comprehensive growth management plan of our county. And prior to the adoption by the county, the Board of Commissioners, you guys need to approve the plan. So the purpose of the plan is to support growth in our community. We're not going to get smaller in the future. We're going to continue to grow. And with that growth, we need to look at stations, training facilities, and apparatus. All of those items are things that can be assessed for capital facilities and fire building impact fees. So components of the plan are, we have to first look at our fire protection services and inventory. We have to look at capital projects that we have that we anticipate will need in the future to address that growth, forecast our future needs, have a financing plan, and then a periodic review and update of our plan. So we know this information, but part of that plan will outline what District 6 is, 37 square miles. Our last calculation of population in the county was 77,130 for urban residential, single family residential, multifamily residential, commercial, and industrial development in our district. This is the evaluation of our current fire stations. So it just lists out our current facilities. sorry, that, 35 should not be in there. But total square footage that District 6 owns right now is 67,050 square feet. And we occupy a total of 17.05 acres. And that, of course, the 151 unit is jointly owned with Parker. This is our inventory of current apparatus. So this is what we have currently in the fleet. 8 engines, 2 ladder trucks, 2 squads, 3 command vehicles, 6 staff, 1 ambulance, 1 TRT, 1 boat, 2 shop trucks, 3 duty trucks, 1 alternate response unit, which is our Gator, essentially. We don't have a water tender, but we share an agreement with Parkburn. We have a forklift. We would like a telehandler, but we don't have one. Or I'm sorry, we do have one. We have 1 TRT trailer and 1 flatbed.
What is it, tele?
It's the big forklift with the.
Construction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, construction. So this is what we project our future fire protection facility needs, and when I say facilities, it does include our apparatus as well. So we anticipate we will need a new fire station somewhere in the district. Right now, we're at capacity with bunks and staffing, so to increase our staffing by much more, we'll need additional facilities. We anticipate we'll need a district shop to be able to service the ladder trucks and our engines better, more efficiently. We anticipate we'll need more storage in the future. We're with our engine replacement plan, we'll need 7 engines within the next 20 years of this capital facilities plan. We'll need 2 ladder trucks, 2 squads, 4 command vehicles, 6 staff vehicles, 1 ambulance, 1 TRT, 1 boat, 2 shop trucks, 4 duty trucks, 2 alternate response vehicles, 1 water tender, 1 forklift, 1 telehandler, 1 TRT trailer, and 1 flatbed. So this just goes on our apparatus replacement plan and looks at 20 years into the future, what we anticipate we'll need to replace. So this is the cost of capital facilities. Right now, new fire station builds in the state are running at about $1,400 a square foot. That's all inclusive with property design services and everything that goes into them. So a new fire station at $1,400 a square foot. I think we estimated it at 18,000 square feet. We're looking at $22 million of future cost. New shop building is about $500 or $5 million at $500 a square foot. 2 storage buildings come in at about 2.5. And then you can see how we estimated all the other costs. Took what we knew we'd need for replacement in the next 20 years and estimated those costs. So overall, our 20-year estimated expenditures for the district for our capital facilities is $45,916,038. It's significant. So when we look at indicators of need and how we assess these building or fire impact fees, we look at call load per facility. So how many calls each of our stations are doing now. We forecast our calls for service in the future. We look at what are acceptable response times. So those are the response times outlined by the board. We look at what we anticipate for new growth, and the county gave us a new growth estimate of 2% per year. We look at our call volume type and distribution and response by land use. So right now, Station 61 runs 65% of the calls in Fire District 6. Last year, they ran 6,526 calls. Station 62 runs 9% of our call volume. 63 right now is 25% of our call volume. 151 carries about 1%. And that is total 151 R units in Clarkburg. So total calls that we ran was 10,094. This gives you a 5% call increase per year. So when we start calculating it out per year, we anticipate in 2045, at the end of this 20-year capital facility plan, the district will be running about 24,000 calls. So the board has adopted a standard to cover. These are baseline standards, and so we'll look at these with growth and how we can still meet these with that growth. But first goal we have is a turnout time of 2 minutes, 90% of the time. Goal number 2 is a response time objective of 6 minutes of the arrival of the first unit to the incident, 90% of the time. Goal 3 is a response time of 9 minutes of the arrival of a full complement of first alarms and fire suppression incidents, 90% of the time. Goal 4 is a response time objective of 6 minutes of the arrival of the first EMS unit, BLS, 90% of the time. Goal 5 is a response time objective of 9 minutes for the arrival of the ALS unit, 90% of the time. Goal 6 is a response time objective of 9 minutes for technical rescue operations, 90% of the time. Goal 7 is a responsive objective of 30 minutes for the sufficient amount of TRT people needed to perform a rescue. And goal 8 is a response time objective for all incidents of 6 minutes, 90% of the time. So those are our current standards of cover, and so we look at what we need to address the growth to keep those. We're not meeting our goals as a whole, so our turnout time objective in 2023 was achieved 84.8% of the time, and if you remember that benchmark is 90. Response times objective was 87.1. Response time objective of full complement was achieved to 28.6% of the time. This data is a little skewed because right now we're getting a truck from the city of Vancouver, so we have a longer response time. We anticipate when our trucks go into play, this will greatly increase. First EMS unit, we're reaching at about 74.4. We're good on our ALS. We're 96.1% of the time, so we're meeting our response time objectives. Technical rescue was 100% of the time. Response time objectives for the full complement, we couldn't assess that data because it's such a regional response. We couldn't pull everybody else's data. Response time objective, 6 minutes, was spent 96.3% of the time. So overall, we're doing good, but we have some areas that we need to look at how we can improve those other areas. So when we look at station areas in our response time, you can see that in station 61, we meet our 6-minute response time only 61.04% of the time. The reason why that is because 61 has our most amount of back-to-back calls, and when you have a back-to-back call, you're pulling an engine from another location, reducing its response times. So these will be all things that will build into a standards of cover, but we can also address with building impact fees for fire growth or response growth. In the station 62 area, we meet our 6-minute goal 72.61% of the time. In 63, 51.59% of the time. And we know in 63, that is a station location that has areas that we already knew we have a lag time in recent weeks. One being Sherwood neighborhood, and one being Sarah neighborhood. And then in 151, we meet the 6-minute goal of responses 31.58%. New district growth. So the population is expected to increase by almost 38,000 people between 2025 and 2045. We anticipate 14,514 new housing units are projected by 2045, equaling over 30 million square feet of housing units in the district. Our total future residential units to occur within the district, we anticipate that split between single family and multifamily, approximately 10,885 units, and 3,600 units. So 10,000 residential, 3,600 multifamily, and that's assuming a 75 to 25% split between single family and multifamily units. All of these projections and growth numbers were provided to us by the county from their comprehensive growth management plan. So approximately 4 million square feet of newly developed commercial projects are anticipated by 2045. And an average of 726 annual housing units, single family and multifamily, are anticipated in the unincorporated areas of our county. So 726, I'm sorry, in District 6. So that's 726 housing units coming into our district annually. Approximately 4 million square feet of newly developed commercial projects by 2045, and the commercial, it represents about 33% of our overall growth within District 6. So again, this just outlines kind of where the square footage is going to be based on growth. The call volume in District 6, we know, is a majority of medical, with about 14% fire and 1% other. And we look at those because that's what we base our fire impact fees on. So if we take the total anticipated costs that we think that the district will have, it's about like I said, it was $44.6 million. We look at that, how much of that growth or how much of that cost is attributed to growth. And from those previous calculations, we can say that 33% of the overall cost for our capital facility needs is attributed to growth. So we take that calculation and we look at total what we'll have contributed to growth, and we can contribute about $14.6 million over 20 years. We then look at what we respond to in the land use type. So 40% of our responses in District 6 are to single-family residents, 19% to multifamily, and 41% to non-residential. Non-residential includes all of your commercial properties. It includes your care homes. It includes anything that's in a field, park, anything, schools, hospitals. So those are your non-residential. And then we adjust the percent for the growth. So when we adjust the percent for the growth, single family, we anticipate about 59% increase, multifamily 14, and non-residential is at 27. And these calculations are important because this helps us get to the final calculation of fire impact fees. So I can go into this more in depth if you want, but essentially we look at all those calculations and come out with a formula, and that's a good thing. So if you look at the impact fees, we take pieces of each of those calculations and put them into a formula. So a single family fire impact fee in District 6 will be $791 per home. That's what we will assess for impact fees in District 6. Multifamily fire impact fee will be $563 a unit. And non-residential impact fees will be 54 cents per square foot of building.
Chief, question.
Yeah.
This is for new home, correct?
New construction, yeah, nothing retroactive. And it probably won't go into effect, the earliest it is 2026.
And you just
So
said
they'll
that
have more.
non-residential includes care facilities.
The non-residential impact fee includes care facilities. Yeah, which I think our last, well, it's still substantial because they're big square footage buildings. So then throughout this plan, we built in annual adjustments. So annually, we'll look at the plan to make sure that these costs are keeping up with inflation. If they're not, then we'll make annual adjustments, and we would do that through the county. And then periodic update every 5 years. So every 5 years, we look, reassess, and make sure that we're on target for what capital facilities we included in the plan and needed. So we go back to our assessment fees of these costs for new construction. We sit right in the middle of Hartford and District 3, and we anticipate that both those will submit their plans at the same time. So kind of right in the middle of both those departments, which is a nice place to sit. We're not the most expensive and not the least expensive. So that is the capital facilities plan, how it was outlined, how it was built. Any questions?
Appreciate the work on that. That's pretty comprehensive. What do you need from us regarding this plan tonight?
So to were to present this to the county, the board would have to approve the capital facilities plan as written.
I have a comment, but I'll make a motion to approve the capital facilities plan.
Second that.
Second.
Made and seconded to approve the capital facilities plan of 2024 as it was outlined. All those in favor?
Just comment before we vote. I think.
No, I can comment after.
Oh, okay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
All those in favor?
Aye. My comment, I guess, are the Washington chiefs or the fire districts? And I'm gonna way oversimplify this, but the cost of building a fire station, to build a garage with some living quarters and a classroom at $22 million. What can we do to help? I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
How much that costs.
It is ridiculous. Well, it is a lot.
Yeah, all right. It's a lot of money. I guess I don't know what we can do to do that, but I mean, we're not building these elaborate buildings, and I think we gotta build them to withstand earthquakes. It just seems like a ridiculous amount of money for the taxpayers to spend.
It is.
It is.
And I really don't know how to address it, to look at a historical perspective. And again, these are all estimates of what we anticipate it will be costing. But 63, when it was built, all in, so property, architectural and design, everything that came into the station, we were right at just under $600 a square foot. So I don't think the $1,400 is way off.
No.
But I don't really know how to control building cost. And then the requirements that go into these buildings to make them essential facilities, which they have to be today, is just really not.
Yeah, it's more of a comment. I don't have a good, it's more of a comment. I just, what we're building, we're not building these elaborate buildings. It's a garage with a facility. and
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's not.
Yeah.
I don't, anyway, I don't expect it to have more commentary. Thank
I think it's not just the facilities, though. I think the cost of apparatus and all of it It's when you
cumulative.
put fire behind it, it seems to get
Yeah.
more expensive.
Yeah, no, I'm also not curious. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Any other questions related to the capital facilities plan? Any comments?
No, good job.
Thank you.
Moving on to, meeting time.
Yeah, I was kind of curious to see if would have any citizens show up to any of our meetings when we were discussing the lid lift. And we didn't have any. I think people are watching it on our Facebook page. And I was just gonna, for discussion, see if the board would be willing to change the time to possibly 4:00. So staff isn't here quite so late, a little bit easier and over dinner or whatever, and just seeing what the board feels about that.
I would absolutely support that. I think, if staff's on board, if we could get more of them here,
Like do
be
that.
here and then get them home. I'm absolutely supportive. Well, yeah, sorry, start. Sorry, you guys. All right. What do we do to make that happen?
Yeah.
Well, I discussed it this isn't a policy, we can just change it, is that correct?
You know, it's been so long, I said, look, I can't remember if that's in board policy. I think you have to make some notifications to the state. Tell them your new.
Right. So to be super careful and to find out, should we put it on the agenda for the next meeting or can we go ahead and go for it? Okay, so Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion that we change our meeting time to 4 p.m. At this station, and when station one gets ready, we'll probably move it there and let the public know. It's better all the way around, especially for staff, more staff can attend if they wish.
I will second that. And I'll let Dave write that up.
He's got it.
Third meeting, 4 p.m., station 6:30.
For now. I think we do have to notify the state. I can't remember if we did last time or not.
Change time.
We changed from 7 to 6 last time. I don't remember.
We have a motion and a second to change meeting start times to 4 p.m. going forward. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. New time, hopefully I can remember.
Yeah.
Executive session. We do have an executive session this evening that will be in accordance with RCW 42.30.110 to evaluate the qualifications of an applicant for public employment or review the performance of a public employee. That should last 20 minutes. That takes us to 6:45. The board met in executive session and took no action. Roundtable, good of the order?
Few items. Recruit Academy graduation tomorrow at 5 p.m. at Skyview. So we have nine recruits graduating. And Skyview let us use their facility because it's supposed to be pretty hot tomorrow. So I also wanted to congratulate Commissioner Haynes on his IAFF Local Leadership Award that he was recently awarded back in Boston.
Shit.
And then Nick McCarty, so our newest VC, just finished his Bachelor of Science degree in Fire Administration.
Oh,
Nice.
very good, good stuff. Very nice. Anything else? Let's see, we've got to authorize payment of current bills, pre-authorization transmittal, authorize monthly commissioner compensation.
So moved.
Second.
Moved, seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.